My boyfriend hid a tracker in my car, so I let him stalk me. My boyfriend Colton offered to take my car for an oil change one Saturday. That car was the first thing I ever bought with my own money, and driving it with the windows down was the freest I had ever felt. He came back 2 hours later, tossed the keys on the counter, and smiled like he had done me the world's biggest favor. We had been living together about 4 months. That night, my friend Nia invited me to grab tacos, and when I told Colton, he got weird. Where? With who? I told him, and he crossed his arms. Fine, go. When I pulled into the parking lot, he texted me the exact name of the restaurant. I had never told him which one. It kept happening. I went to the mall with Nia, and before we made it past the entrance, Colton texted, "You didn't tell me you were going shopping." I showed Nia, and her face dropped. "How does he keep doing that?" she whispered, and I could hear in her voice that she was scared for me. When I got home, Colton was at the kitchen table with his arms crossed, still in his jacket like he had been waiting. You know what's interesting? You always have time for Nia, but never for me. It's like I'm not even a priority anymore. That's not true. I just wanted to hang out with my friend. Right, your friend who you see more than your own boyfriend. The guy who literally took your car in for an oil change so you didn't have to. He said it like I already owed him, and before I knew it, I was apologizing even though I hadn't done anything wrong. Before I went to bed that night, I turned off every location setting on my phone. Then I tested it. I drove to a bookstore 15 minutes in the opposite direction from campus. Didn't tell anyone, didn't post anything, just parked and sat in my car with a book in my lap. The lot was almost empty, and I could hear birds outside my window, and for 5 minutes I actually felt like a normal person. Then my phone buzzed. Didn't know you liked that part of town. The book slid out of my hands and hit the floor mat. Every setting was off. There was no way he was using my phone. When I got home, I asked him how he kept knowing, and he turned to me with this soft little smile that used to make me feel safe. "I just pay attention to you because I care. That's what a good boyfriend does. And honestly, it's kind of sad that you keep questioning it when most girls can't even get a guy to text them back." Then he went right back to his game and said without looking at me, "Next time just let me know before you go somewhere so I'm not sitting here wondering, that's all I'm asking." For a horrible second, I actually thought maybe I was the problem. Maybe too broken to recognize what love looks like. So I ran one last test. I walked into the living room and said, "I'm going to the library." I drove there, parked, pulled right back out, and drove to a park 3 miles away. 4 minutes later, he texted, "The library closes early on Thursdays, right?" Every excuse I had ever made for him fell apart at once. I called Nia, and when I finished, she went quiet so long I thought the call dropped. Then she said, "He's tracking your car." I waited for Colton to leave for class and went straight to my car with a flashlight. Tore through the seats, the glove box, the visors, the floor mats, nothing. Then I got on my back and slid under the dashboard and saw it. A small black box zip-tied to a bundle of wires behind the panel. I searched the brand name and my screen filled with results for GPS car trackers with real-time location. I just lay there staring at it because he had been watching me for 2 months while kissing me goodnight every evening like nothing was wrong. Then I heard his car pull back into the lot. A door slammed and footsteps crunched across the gravel, getting louder, and every muscle in my body locked up. "What are you doing?" Colton was at the open driver's door looking down at me because he had come back for his laptop. I sat up so fast I cracked my head on the steering wheel. He looked at the flashlight in my hand, then at the panel I had pulled loose, and his whole expression went flat like a switch flipped behind his eyes. "Are you going through my stuff?" My voice came out way smaller than I wanted. "Your stuff?" He stepped closer until his shadow covered me completely. "I put that there to keep you safe. Do you know how many cars get stolen around here? You should be thanking me. Most girls would love a boyfriend who cares this much, but instead I get interrogated for looking out for you." Then he shoved the panel back so hard the dashboard rattled against my knees and leaned in close enough that I could feel his breath on my ear. "And if you go running to Nia about this, I'll know, because you always do." Then he pulled back and smiled at me, the exact same smile from the day he brought my car back from the oil change, and I realized that smile had never meant what I thought it meant. He walked inside and I heard him filling the coffee pot like any other morning. I wasn't scared anymore. I was done. I texted Nia. I found it and he knows, but I have a plan. After that, I kept my head down, smiled when he smiled, stayed close when he wanted me close. One evening, he wrapped his arm around me and said, "See, this is so much better when you're not being weird about stuff. I don't know why you have to make everything a fight when all I do is take care of you." I pressed my face into his shoulder while every inch of my skin wanted to pull away, but I kept still because I knew exactly where I was driving the second I got the chance. The next chance I get, I tell Colton I'm going to Nia's house, and he nods without looking up. My hands are steady for the first time in weeks. I drive to Colton's mom's house, the same house I had been to for dinners when things were good. I reach under the dashboard, unclip the zip tie, and hold the tracker in my palm, warm from the engine and lighter than I expected for something that controlled my life for 2 months. His mom opens the door smiling with flour on her hands. "Oh, hey, sweetheart, come in." I hold up the tracker. Colton put this under my dashboard so he could track everywhere I drive. The smile slides off her face. I show her every text and she scrolls through them at the kitchen counter while the oven timer ticks behind us. Then she calls him on speaker. He picks up cheerful. "Hey, Mom, what's up? Get here now." "Why? What happened?" "The tracker, Colton." The cheerfulness vanishes. He tries to laugh. "Mom, it's not what you think. She's been acting really paranoid lately." Her hand tightens around the phone. "That's not what I asked you." His voice gets faster. "I was just trying to keep her safe. You should be glad I care enough to look out for her. You tracked her to a bookstore, Colton. That is not protection. That is control." Something slams on his end and he starts shouting so loud the speaker distorts. "She is mine, Mom. I have every right to know where she is. I paid for that oil change. I do everything for her, and this is how she repays me." Then his voice drops to something low and quiet that is worse than the screaming. "When I get there, she better still be at your house, because if she leaves, we are going to have a real problem." The oven timer goes off and nobody moves. His mom brings the phone up. "Did you just threaten her in front of me? You are coming here. You are paying for a mechanic to go through her car, and if you so much as raise your voice at this girl again, I will drive her to the police station myself and fill out the report." The kitchen goes silent, except for that timer still beeping and the flour still drying on her hands. Colton blew up my phone that night, but I never picked up. His mom texted me that week saying she made him pay for a full inspection. I blocked his number and drove home with the windows down.